Jason's heart surgery journey, video number 2. Jason's heart surgery journey, video number 2. Hello, all you fine folks listening and watching this video. So this is Jason again, and here we are. I am bringing you another video on my heart surgery journey. So again, it's like the first one, kind of an educational one, kind of an informational one, and that's what I want to do for you today. So last video is more on the pre-heart surgery stuff. So what you're going to expect leading up to it, what you're going to expect in your pre-admit appointment, what you're going to expect to have hooked up to you in your surgery, and what you're going to expect to wake up to. These were kind of the things I covered last time. So today what I want to talk about really is the day. The day of the heart surgery. So let's get into this, shall we? The first thing, maybe what I'll do is I'll just go over stuff that you need to be aware of when you go into your day of surgery. You're likely looking at an early start. You're likely looking at an incredibly early start because it's such a big surgery, so they're doing it early. Because sometimes, well, what they told me was they told me expect your surgery to be 6 to 8 hours. And from what I understand, I was in the ICU after the surgery. I was there about 4.5 hours after. So, just understand they probably give you a time frame because they want to fully make you aware of how long it could be, because really with any surgery, even with this one, I guess, they're not going to really know until they get in and start doing it how long it might take. And I guess for me that was a kind of on the good part of things, right? I guess they went in, met everything exactly as they expected to meet it, and they were able to fix things in a good amount of time. And so for me, as I said, it was about 4.5 hours from what I was told. So that's number one. Number two, so by early, I'm talking early, like, for us it was like be at the hospital at 6 a.m. So that's early. It means that you have to get up probably, I got up about 4:30 in the morning to get ready, to do things I had to do to get ready, and then obviously travel to the hospital too. So that's that. Another thing you need to be aware of on your day of surgery is and this is something I got in my pre-admit appointment. They cost about, how much did they cost? About $12. You have to get a package of what's called antibacterial wipes. So because it's such a big surgery, because they really, really want it to be clean, they don't want you to get infection anywhere, you need to scrub your whole body with antibacterial wipes. So I found those to be okay. They weren't a huge deal. You just got to give yourself time to do them. You get 2 packages actually. So you're going to have to do a package of them the night before, and then you do a package of them the morning of your surgery. And when you wake up in the morning, another thing too is that there's no food after midnight. Not even water after midnight, not even water at all. The only exception with the water is if you have medications you have to take the morning of your surgery. You're allowed to take them with as little of water as possible to sip and swallow them, but that's it. So you got the antibacterial wipes the night before. You got the antibacterial wipes the morning of, and they come with instructions. It's pretty easy to understand them. Basically, I can't remember specifically everything about them, but I know there was one wipe for, I think, your both arms. I think there was one wipe for both of your legs. Like, you have to wipe everything on your body, like the front, the back of your arms, the front, the back of your legs. Then there's a wipe for your chest and your back, and etc., etc. I think there's 5 of them. So that is something you will have to do, and you will have to purchase those before your surgery, so that your body can completely be antibacterial wiped before the surgery. So that's one thing. So we covered it's going to be early, probably, the antibacterial wipes. And then the next thing that you will have to be aware of is that you could go to the hospital and they could tell you when you get to the hospital, you're canceled. That could happen. Thankfully, that didn't happen with me. But if they got an emergency case that comes in, if they got a very urgent case that comes in, you will be bumped out most likely for that urgent case. So that could happen. Not fun, I'm sure, if it happens, but it can happen. So be prepared for that. So those are the things you kind of have to be aware of on the day of your surgery. I think that's about it. Now, what I'm going to do is run over what I wrote, my little journal of the day of the surgery. So I want to do that. So, November 22nd, 2024, surgery day. And I wrote, here is the day. So far ago, we have not had a phone call. This is an early start. Get up at 4:30 a.m. We have to get dressed. And I have to do my antibacterial scrub cloths on my body. They take about 10 minutes too. I found, like, a good amount of time to run through all those is like 10 minutes. So last night we had the final supper. So I know there's people that kind of refer to it that way. It's not hopefully your final supper, but it's your last supper, last time you're going to be eating for a while. So you want to, we kind of are like, what do we want to have? And we decided, well, we lit candles for the supper, and we had lasagna, Caesar salad, and garlic bread. And this is the day before surgery right now that I'm in, so the supper. And then I wrote, we also had prayers from Trish at North Park, the church I go to. One of the pastors there called to pray with me. And then Lori's mom called to that early on in that evening to kind of pray for us over the phone. And then we're into the day here. So now we're into the actual day. I'm just going to wear pajamas. Ryan gets here right on time. This is our driver for today. This is it. Off to the hospital for my biggest life event yet. We check in. So at the hospital I went to, there's right on the first floor, there's patient registration. So that's where they tell you to check in. So you will go there, give them your name, your information, and then they will slap a wristband on you for ID, and that is your ID. So we check in at the hospital. Everything appears to be a go still. I think I need to consider myself blessed this surgery is going ahead first schedule. Many don't have that blessing. And then once you check in, I wrote from here, it's up to floor 2, where it's the same area I went for my ear surgeries too for, I was already in the hospital for my first one. My second one, that's where I went the day of my surgery. It was just day surgery. So up to floor 2, where they prep you for your surgery. We get up to the second floor, and Ryan says this may be our final point of contact in the waiting room, but it is not. So this is a great thing about their accommodations at the hospital are very good. They let you have more than one person. Lori was with me, and then Ryan was. And I wanted Ryan to come in before I was wheeled off to pray with me. So the only thing is, whether this works at every hospital the same way, they will only let one person in at a time. So you can't have them both there, but one can come in and then they can leave. The other person can come in, but that's how it worked. So when they take you in to the prep area, this will happen. So just more things that will happen. You will get an IV in your arm to prepare you for fluids, because before they take you into the operation, they will put fluids in through you to have you hydrated and ready to go. And then they'll poke you twice, at least me. They'll poke you to take some blood as well at that point. So you'll be poked with an IV and then getting blood taken out of you as well. Before Ryan leaves, he does say a prayer over me. And then that was more or less, after that point, it was me and Lori alone together on that. And then one of the final things you're going to get on your and that prep part of things is the anesthesiologist is going to come by with and talk to you. They're basically going to ask you what you're getting. So they want to kind of make sure you know what you're getting and what, make sure that everybody's on the same page with what you're going in for and getting fixed. And then the anesthesiologist will scare you to death. That's what I wrote. Well, they have to be honest, but they scared me to death anyway. You will have pain. You will. Not you might. Not you possibly will. Could have pain. You will have pain. The pain meds are not going to take it all away. But they're going to do their best to minimize it. They're going to try their very best to control that and have it at a minimum level for you. And it's also important to breathe and cough after your surgery. The anesthesiologist says we don't want pneumonia. Pneumonia kills people. And I went away after that thinking, that's very encouraging, isn't it? You will have pain, and make sure you breathe and cough when you wake up, because we don't want you getting pneumonia. Pneumonia kills people. Awesome. But they have to tell you those things. It's just, they have to let you know that. So I'll continue on with my day here. This is out of my journal I wrote. I also prayed to God before I'm taken off. We got this. Mighty forces of prayer behind me. And then that will be, once your fluids are through you, you meet the anesthesiologist. That is when you will leave and you will say goodbye to your loved one and off you go. The operating room isn't all that far away, it seems. I barely meet anyone before I don't recall things. So what you will do, what you will expect when you go in the operating room is that there will be a lot of people in there, especially for a surgery this major. You will have a lot of people in there. You will have nurses, doctors. I don't know who they call the people that run the heart-lung bypass machine, but whoever does that is there. Your anesthesiologist, of course, and all those people. I think I counted at least 10 people in there. Might have even been more. And so that is when things go bye-bye. Bye-bye. So they'll get you on the operating table. I remember the one doctor introducing himself to me, and then he said a couple things, and that was all I remembered. I was out like a light. And so now let's go to the after part of things. As I said, They said 6 to 8 hours for the operation. I was apparently, I don't remember, but apparently from what I was told, about 4.5 hours, they got the phone call home that I was out of operation, and that in about an hour's time, people could come up and see me. And so when you wake up, you will wake up in ICU. It's called, it's part of ICU. It's called the Cardiac Care Unit, which is linked in with the ICU. So you'll be in a section with a whole bunch of other people that just went through a heart surgery. And so that's where you will wake up. And you will wake up connected to a lot of stuff. You will wake up, of course, with a breathing tube in you. You will wake up with your IV. You will also have a thing hooked up into this arm for your blood pressure and that kind of thing. A really, really advanced way of keeping track of your blood pressure. You'll wake up with an IV in your neck. You'll wake up with chest tubes to drain the fluid, drain any fluid buildup, and you will have some. When your chest gets wide open, you will have stuff there that needs to drain out. And so that's what you will have when you wake up. So let me continue on in what I wrote. When I wake up, I apparently don't recall anything. In terms of waking up with a breathing tube in you, and I was really afraid of that. I don't think that's really that much of a fear because I don't remember it. I was heavily sedated and out of it. Lori said she was there. Not sure if I remember her being there, I wrote. I came through to the other side. Yay me! Jason is a heart surgery survivor. So I wrote that when I woke up in ICU. Now, I can tell you, I don't know if this was this day or not, but I can tell you whenever my breathing tube was removed from me, it wasn't that long after that I was what would you say, distressed, I guess you could say. I could, once that was out, I could definitely notice that there was discomfort and pain, and I was like wanting pain medication. Please help me, help me. So, you know, they're very good in the ICU. They will take care of you. And they did come around, I think, shortly after a pain medication. But as I said, they can only give you so much. They can't, like, fill you up with pain medication to a extent where, you know, you have a seizure or, you know, you fall out of your bed or whatever and injure yourself more, I guess. So yeah, so that's kind of what the day of your surgery is going to look like. So starting from being picked up, what you're going to have to do in the morning before you leave, your ride to the hospital, what they do when they prepare you in the preparation room, and then wheel you off to the operating room. So let me just say, I'm going to just mention some names now. I thought I would do that. I don't know any of my surgical team's names, and that's not abnormal. Why would you remember those? Because you probably couldn't. But I do remember, I can tell you the nurses I had in ICU, and after that, I wrote their names all down. So I had the first night in the ICU, I had a lovely nurse who was very good, came around with the pain medication when I was supposed to have it, always checking everything out, making sure you were doing okay. Her name was Tiana. Then on the second day, on the Saturday, so my surgery was the Friday, on the second day in the ICU, I had two nurses looking after me by the names of Carly and Erin, and they were all both very nice too. And so yeah, they were very kind and loving, and they're really good in there. They go by very often, and you don't have to worry at all about trying to get their attention because they'll always be there. So those were in the ICU. And then when I was moved up out of the ICU up to cardiac care recovery, which is on the 6th floor at University Hospital. Saturday night when I was moved up, I had a nurse's name. Her name was Jaden. Then on the Sunday during the day, I had Christelle and Naomi. Naomi was a student nurse, so she was kind of working with Christelle. Sunday night, I had a nurse by the name of Sarah. Then on Monday, during the day, I had the same nurses that I did on the Sunday. So the only time I had duplicate nurses, really the whole time, Christelle and Naomi. And then I had a visit from the physiotherapist. Her name was Jacqueline. Monday night, I had a nurse by the name of Sierra. And then Tuesday, the day I came home, the last nurse I had was a nurse by the name of Devin. So those were all my nurses. And I wrote all their names down. I wanted to keep track of it, so I thought that was good of me to do that. So I will go over more about what you will expect when you move to a room. I think that will be my next video. And kind of be bluntly honest with what I struggled with and what was easy and what was hard for me. Little story about Sierra. I will tell you a little story about Sierra. So I had a lot of swelling on my arms, so what they did was they gave me a new wristband and they made it very loose on that arm so that it would not be so hard on my arm. And but because it was so loose, I went to do the bathroom one time and the thing fell right off my wrist. And so I was just like, oh, I guess I'll just, whenever it was in between shifts, I was like, whenever the night nurse comes by, I'll let them know and they can get me another wristband. But meanwhile, while I was waiting for that to happen, cleaning people came into the rooms, and apparently cleaning person must have just swept it right up, threw it in the garbage. Like, I don't know why you would have not thought that maybe that's a wristband that I might need, but they didn't think of it. But anyway, the night nurse that night, Sierra, did get me a new wristband, and during the night, I didn't do this often, but that night I was in quite a bit of pain and misery, and I had asked for pain medication. They said they were coming, but in the meantime, it was just, it was it was just so bad. And so while I was waiting, it was kind of bad, and I was actually making a lot of noise, like moaning in pain. And then Sierra comes by the room, and she's like, she had a new wristband for me at that point, and I remember, it's just a story, she checked in and she said, "Is that you making all that noise?" I said, "Yeah, it is me." And I said, "I already said I needed pain medication." And so she was just like, so she brought the wristband, and my birthday was actually that day. So I had just turned a new year during the night that night. So it was just funny because she came in with my wristband and your birthday's on there, and she said, "Oh, happy birthday." And she goes, "I brought you a birthday gift." She was like, "My birthday gift to you is pain medication." So I thought that was a pretty good birthday gift. So anyway, that's what I'm going to leave it at for now on my journey. So that's kind of what to expect on the day of your surgery, and what it's going to be like when you wake up, where you're going to wake up, and the kind of care that you're going to get. So the next video, I will talk to you about more of the whole after experience in the hospital, and then probably do a video on what it's like when you come home too. So those will be kind of how I break it up. So anyway, that's my heart surgery journey. I hope that you get some stuff from it, and I will bring you another video in another week or so, I'm sure. So thank you for watching, and we'll talk to you next time.